California, Lake Herman Road, 1968, 11 p.m. Stella Borges discovers the bodies of high school students Betty Lou Jensen and David Faraday. Both were shot in David's mother's Rambler. Betty was found 30 meters away from the car, dead. David was in the car but miraculously survived. Unfortunately, David perished on the way to the hospital. David was shot in the head at point-blank range and Betty was shot 5 times in the back. The next attack would be at Blue Rock Springs Park in California on the 4th of July 1969. The ones shot were Darlene Ferrin and Michael Mageau. Our killer came back and shot them sometime later. Both survived, but only Michael would live, and according to my research, is still alive today. Darlene was shot 5 times, and Michael was shot 4 times. Michael would conjure the famous image of a young white male, 26 to 30 years old, stocky, 200 pounds or larger, and 5 foot 8 inches, light brown curly hair, and a large face. An hour later, they received a call from the man claiming he had committed both murders. On the 31st of August, the San Francisco Times, Examiner, and Vallejo Times got identical letters that read that he took credit for the shootings. With it accompanied a third of a crypto sheet, which he demanded to be printed in the newspapers, or he would, quote, cruise around all weekend killing lone people in the night, then move on to kill again, until I end with 12 people over the weekend. It was signed with the iconic circle with a cross through it, that he would later become known for. He said that the code would reveal his identity. On the 4th of August, another letter was sent, this time starting with, "This is Zodiac speaking." 4 days later, the code was cracked. It read, "I like killing because it is so much more fun than killing wild game in the forest because man is the most dangerous animal of all to kill. Something gives me the most thrilling experience. It's even better than getting your rocks off with a girl, the best part of it. So when I die, I'll be reborn in paradise, and those who I have killed will become my slaves, and I will not tell you my name, because if you try to slow me down, I'll stop collecting of slaves for afterlife." There was one full stop at the very end. On the 27th of September at Lake Berryessa in Napa, California, 2 more bodies were found. That's Cecilia Shepard and Brian Hartnell. Cecilia was stabbed 5 times in the back and 5 in the front. Brian was stabbed 6 times in the back. He would later work on the 2007 film Zodiac. Cecilia wasn't as fortunate and died in hospital. The man walked over in a mask, but Hartnell managed to get a description of a 5 foot 8 inches to 6 feet, heavy set, 225 to 250 pounds, and dark brown haired man. Painted on the card, there was a note with all the dates of the murders. Underneath the most recent one, it said "by knife." On the 11th of October, a taxi driver was shot in the back of the head by his passenger. Witnesses described him as a white male, 25 to 30 years old, 5 foot 8 inches to 5 foot 9 inches, stocky reddish-brown crew cut and heavy rimmed glasses. A cop car arrived, but due to the chaos of the situation, they incorrectly said he was an African-American male. The misidentification would lead to, I'm not joking, an officer letting the man go. The cops would describe him as a white male, 5 foot 10 inches, 170 pounds, about 40 years old, glasses, reddish hair, and a crew car. The Zodiac Killer would later comment on this interaction, stating that 2 cops pulled a goof about 3 minutes after I left the cab. The key point of evidence was a bloody fingerprint on the car, but he admitted to have placed it there to throw the cops off the trail. Many letters were sent afterwards, and the final letter was sent in 1974. It claimed the man had killed 37 people, and also said that The Exorcist was the most satirical comedy I've ever seen. Surprisingly, for a case so big, there were only 3 suspects. Earl Van Best Jr. Bears an uncanny resemblance to the sketch from the Paul Stein murder. His name also matches the numbers of zodiac signs on one of the letters. The handwriting on a marriage certificate showed a very similar handwriting on the Zodiac Killer's letters, yet the handwriting was of the priest, not Earl. So the priest did it! No, he didn't. That'd be stupid. Furthermore, he only matches the picture from the Paul Stein murder, but not the others before. Arthur Leigh Allen is the most popular suspect, and it was so popular, it was adapted by the 2007 film Zodiac, starring Robert Downey Jr., known for his portrayal of Tony Stark, Mark Ruffalo, known for his portrayal as Hulk, and Jake Gyllenhaal, known for his portrayal as Mysterio in Spider-Man Far From Home. On the day of the Lake Marietta attack, Arthur said he was going scuba diving there. He came home soaked in blood with a bloody knife in his car. Don Cheney, Arthur's friend, said that Arthur referred to himself as Zodiac before the killer did. He also claims that Arthur said he was planning to hunt people with a gun and a flashlight. Because of all this information, the police called him in for a second interview. He said that his favourite book was The Most Dangerous Game by Richard Connell, which is a book about hunting humans and is also referenced by the murderer in a letter. Arthur was also wearing a Zodiac Grand watch with the same logo in which he signed off all his letters with. The police searched his trailer home and found small dissected animals, bloodied knives, and sexual devices. Arthur was convicted of feeling up and having sex with children and got a 3-year sentence, and during this time there were no letters. An inmate at San Jose prison admitted to officers and said that Arthur claimed to have shot the taxi driver. In an interview in 1991 with Michael Mageau, showed that when he was presented with a line of pictures and asked who he shot, it would be the picture of Arthur. They searched the house again and found formulae for bombs, made bombs, and tapes about Zodiac. For anyone born before the 2000s, they were rectangle discs before discs existed. Google audio tape cassette and you may laugh in the face of the previous generation. The thing about the bombs is important, for in one letter there were plans for bombs. In 1992, Arthur passed away from a heart attack. Arthur's DNA was compared against the stamps on the first letter, and it didn't match. But Arthur was known for not looking for stamps and made others do it for him. They compared the handwriting of the letters compared to Arthur's, and then it didn't match. Arthur also looks nothing like the sketch produced from the last murder. Lawrence Kane K. was in a car crash in 1962, resulting in brain damage and alterations to his mental health. Kane can also be seen in the killer's My Name Is cipher. In the same cipher, there are 3 8s with circles around them. If you add those up, they equal 24. Lawrence was born in 1924. According to Darlene's sister, Lawrence was sexually harassing Darlene up to her murder. After the last murder, the officer claimed to have seen a man from 35 to 45 years old, and Kane was 45. As the cop was shown all the pictures, he pointed and said that the man he pointed at was, quote, the closest of them as I remember the killer, end quote. He also lived 6 minutes away from the place where the cab picked up the killer. According to Vallejo PD, that the investigation has placed Kay in the locals where several of the Zodiac's victims were either lived or were killed. In 1970, Kane moved to South Lake Tahoe, where another possible attack by the Zodiac Killer occurred. That of Donna Lass. A man offered a hitchhike for Donna and her baby. Halfway there, she was attacked by the man. After the incident, Donna was shown pictures of a possible attacker. She pointed at the one of Kane. However, his handwriting doesn't match the letter sent by the killer. Paul bears a slight resemblance to the murder from the Paul Stein killing, but not the heavy-set, round-faced individual from the first few attacks. Now, here's my theory. Buckle up, because it's a big stretch, but I think I have a firm grasp on my opinion. Arthur Leigh Allen committed the first 3 attacks, and when the test was given, his handwriting looked as different as possible than the regular handwriting of the killer. The final murder was committed by a copycat known as Earl Van Best. He bears too much of a resemblance for it not to be him. The whole story goes like this. Allen finds 2 delinquents at Lake Herman and decides to deal with them in an inhumane way. He walks up to the car and shoots the boy. The girl stumbles out and manages to get 30 meters away from the vehicle and is shot in the lower spine, making her incapable of moving. He shot her 4 more times to finish her off. He next attacked 2 more students. He shot them both twice and the male survived. Arthur later said he was going scuba diving at Lake Marietta, and then he murdered a girl brutally with a knife and injured her boyfriend. Earl Van Best read the articles in the newspaper about the murder and put his plan into action, and shot Paul Stein in the head. Thanks for watching. Be sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Ring the notification bell so you don't miss my next deep dive into history's mysteries and my investigation into the most famous real ghost ship of all time, the Mary Celeste.